Hey guys, Pulse here, and today we're going to take a quick look at Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I've just done a very quick little write-up here, and I've decided to go with something a little bit different. It's going to be called Good, Bad, and Who Cares, and the game in question today is Elder Scrolls Online, as I mentioned before. And essentially, I'm just going to talk about what I am liking about the game so far, in terms of its development and what we've seen, what I'm not liking about the game, what I'm concerned about. As someone that's been following this game kind of hard, I do have to put my opinion out there about some things that I feel they need to change, or they should definitely be wary of going forward. And then the who cares section at the end there, which is just a couple points about things needed to be said to the fans about calming down. Just be rational. Don't jump the gun. Don't be crazy. For goodness sake, calm down. It's a who cares moment. So let me just jump right in at the good, mainly because it's the first one on the list. Elder Scrolls Online looks very much like other Elder Scrolls game. It's very aesthetically pleasing, and I'm glad to say that. It looks very good, very well done. The graphics have been compared to Skyrim, but better. And even though this game is going to be running on multiple different styles of PCs, from low end all the way to the super high end, I imagine this game is going to look good no matter what you're playing on, and I'm glad to say that they've done a very good job at replicating the overall aesthetic of the Elder Scrolls series here. Now obviously they jumped to some corners with the models and that sort of thing to make it run on the older PCs, and that's one of those that would have gone in who cares, but it's just too short to say shut up, stop worrying about it, it's for your own good kind of thing. And then on to the next point, I suppose, the potential to explore all of Tamriel in all of its scope all at once. Now, they've obviously cut some chunks of land out that can't be explored upon release. That way, they can facilitate for post-release production, expansions, DLCs, what have you, that sort of thing. But we will get most of Tamriel all at once, and the fact that we can explore all of it is pretty damn cool, because normally we're sort of segregated off from the rest of the world. We have our one chunk and we can do whatever we want in that chunk, but if we explore all of it, which I imagine very few have actually done in Skyrim and the other Elder Scrolls games, but the fact is that you can go and see the rest of the world. You're not stuck in your cage, even as big as it is. And with all that exploration comes the fact that you can do it with your buddies, which is the next point, that this is online. This is a game where they intend to join you with other Elder Scrolls fans and your friends, and you can just go do whatever the hell your heart wants and do it in this huge expensive world with all your friends. The connectivity of it all, the interaction of it all is really what gets MMOs the attention. This is really what makes MMOs a genre worth watching, and even though it's become stale lately, I'm excited to see a new one come on the horizon, which is why I'm really watching Elder Scrolls Online, is that interaction, that social interaction that makes MMOs good. Now back up the list here. Combat. It's quick-paced. It looks very Elder Scrolls. Now, we've been told already that we shouldn't worry about the floatiness of some of the leaked footage and the convention gameplay, that they've already implemented a system that causes mobs to stutter and sort of just react to the hits in general. If you hit them on the right side, they're supposed to move or do a step back or something like that to react to the move itself. We'll have to see how that's going, but I'm glad to say that they've taken our feedback about how it does look and how it does feel and tried to implement something already. So that's good to see. Let me see here. The flexibility of the class system, the armor choice, and weapon choice. This is a big one, and I could probably do a whole video on it. But essentially, the fact that you can pick any armor you want and pick any weapon you want, very Elder Scrolls-like, is very cool. And the fact that the classes are supposed to be very baseline, you pick them for the flavor they have, and you will utilize a couple of their spells, what you like the most, and you could potentially use an all-class skill character. The choice is yours to do so, but if you want to venture out and use different armor skills and weapon skills, that's all your choice. The more choice, the better, in my opinion. Now, it makes balance a little bit of a headache, I imagine, but that's not really important. That's one of those things we cannot possibly get angry about until we see how it's going. Now, I won't delve too deep into that because, like I said, that could be a whole video. If you want a whole video, please say so in the comments, because I would gladly go into great detail about it. The fact that first-person combat is in the game is one of the next ones here, and I'll just go ahead and jump to it. The fact that they took feedback and threw first-person in the game is very cool to me, because I get why you'd want to play in third person, because as someone who does play MMOs quite extensively, I know that third person gives that advantage. The ability to pull the camera way out is an advantage for sure in every situation. Doesn't matter what you're playing. The fact is, the choice is good to have. If you don't have that choice, you automatically tell the people that don't want to play in third person to fuck off and to not play your game. And the fact is, they took the thing that a lot of Elder Scrolls fans wanted, they put it in their game, and they've actually put it at the forefront of a lot of their trailers, and any of the content we've seen, it's been right there in the forefront. I can't think of any time we've seen actual third-person gameplay in a trailer for a long time now, so I'm very glad to see that first person got put in the game. And the fact, finally, that it's releasing to a huge audience. Now, I kind of mentioned with the fact that you can explore all of it with your friends. In addition to that, this game is going to be coming to consoles, and we just found that out at E3 2013 that they are going to be pushing the game's release back, but it's not for that. I'll get to that in a minute. The fact is that it's coming to Xbox One and PS4 and PC, and this just means it's a bigger crowd of people that will potentially play the game, and that's really cool. I mean, as someone who has been in the situation where you don't have a PC even capable of playing WoW, and you want to play these games that other people have, the more audience you have, the better. I'm sure a couple years back, if I didn't have a PC, I mean, my PC's not the greatest, I'm not gonna lie, but the fact is, if I had my Xbox 360 and an MMO had come out, I would have probably played it on the console because it's ease of use and that sort of thing. So I'm glad to see that they are branching out and giving it to the consoles. Now, there's some hoops they have to jump through for that, but it's not really any concern of mine at the moment. It looks good. I'm glad that they are bringing it to as many people as possible. Now, on to what I've labeled bad. Now, I do want you guys to take this with a grain of salt, because it's things that can change very quickly, or are some things that really they may not be that bad. But let me just jump right in. It's not very much, I'm not going to lie. One of the big things I'm not liking about the game so far is the lack of concrete details. The fact that they are not really providing information in any sort of fashion that seems to coincide with each other. What I mean by this is, every interview I see has one person sort of saying one thing, and then the next time it's somebody saying something else, and then from there they're saying something else. I mean, just an example would be the adventure zones. I mean, I've seen one interview where they said for sure it'll be coming and this is going to be the big group stuff, and then another person will say no, that's not what we're having, and then one person will say yeah, first person combat's the way to play. Oh no, we develop from third person only. I just wish they would, come on guys, it's not that hard. If you're gonna lie to us and you're gonna like beat around the bush for what we actually want, at least get together and go, yeah, we're all gonna say this thing. For goodness fucking sakes, it's not that hard. But like I said, that's not a huge deal, because I feel like they're just taking a stance in the same vein that Bethesda always has, which is don't show them too much, give them the product they want when they can actually see what has become of the progress and the effort and the time spent. Bethesda's always been kind of like that, so I'm not too worried about that. I just wish they would get together better and plan ahead for what they intend to do. I really also think it comes up to a fact that they're not very good interviewees. They have these interviewers that a lot of times have been pretty aggressive, and even though they've asked similar questions, they ask a lot of the important questions, which I'm glad. I wish more interviewers would really jump in there. Angry Joe is one to watch. His interviews, he lacks the quote-unquote professionalism, and so he thinks so, but to hell with that, I'll take his interview over anyone else's, because he is truthful with what he asks and his opinions of it right there on the spot, and he doesn't care. So people, take one from him. He's very good at that. Next thing on here was that the gameplay footage NDA. To hell, what is going on with this? What are you hiding? Is even what I put here, because it's ridiculous. I can understand them taking off information from the web if they don't want people to see it, like the 20-minute leak that we had not too long ago, and some of the minor leaks as well. But you can take a camera and print. There's nothing else I can think of that is blocked from convention footage. And it's a WTF kind of moment, and I had to say that just because I wrote it on the paper for some reason. I never ever say that, but it's worrying. I'm not gonna lie. That's probably the most worrying part about the development of the game so far. Now, this is mainly from the fact that I want to see the game, and I'm kind of worried that if they don't let enough people see it and they get the feedback they need, they might be putting themselves in a bad place. But that's mostly because I really want this game to be doing well and released to the right people with the right sort of systems in place. That's really why I'm kind of upset about that part. And I guess in the same vein as that, the whole I put hunting down and eradication of all game related info. This comes from when there was a couple leaks and a couple sites that produced what seemed to be pretty legit info on the classes and armor and pretty much all of the skill lines. There was a couple left out, but everything from the guilds and the classes and armor and all of that were leaked not too long ago. And there was, like I said, it looks legit, but there's no way we would know. And I actually was just taking it all with a huge grain of salt. Until they took it down, which makes me know that it was either pretty close or something along those lines. I mean, it was not the best info to be leaked anyway, but it was not something that they had to take down. It was just text. There was no gameplay here. There was no. I mean, the only things we could do was speculate on it, and I feel it's ridiculous that they're just tearing it all down. They could have just said that's fake. And then took it down, or told people to remove it because it was fake. Something, come on. But lastly, there's two things here. First off, I'll just say beta first in quotes for PS4. I don't understand what that's about. I mean, I get they got some Sony in their pockets, or they're in Sony's pocket, one or the other, or something going on here with that, but I feel like it's a big slap in the face for PC players that have been following this game, because I know for a fact there are a lot of people that wanted to pick up Elder Scrolls Online, and they wanted to do so badly that they planned on or already did buy a PC to play this game, and then all of a sudden they go, we're going to release on consoles. That's great, that's cool. And then they go, well, all you PC players that have been waiting ages, to hell with you guys, we're going to give it to PS4 first. That's silly. I really hope they change that, and if it is first, it's like a weekend first, a week earlier. I can't, if they go like a couple months early, or even a month, it's too far before the other players, especially the PC fans that have been waiting ages to do anything with the beta, included, hint. And then lastly here, the potential for add-ons. Now, this is both a good and a bad. This is why I put it last, because add-ons are a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea of community creating content in terms of what you can do and even UI. The problem, why the reason I put it down at the bad instead of in the good is because MMO communities have been known to ruin games with add-ons to the point, like, what I mean by this is anyone that's played WoW can tell you that DBM and recount are required. And then it gets to the point, if you are farther up the tier of PvE or PvP raiders, there are more add-ons that are added on that require you to watch the UI and that sort of thing. And so you have the clutter of the UI come into play. And as someone who did play WoW and all the roles that are available in that game, so I know each kind of UI that comes up here. it's worrying because I understand the need for customization on your UI, but these guys have busted their ass to given the limited UI, and it is gonna, within a couple days, if the potential for add-ons, if they are given access to do that upon release or very close to release, give it a week, and anyone that claims to be quote-unquote hardcore anything will have a screen full of add-ons, because that's what the MMO community does. And then those guys are going to tell all the ESO fans that came from playing on the consoles or from playing the single player games only, and they're gonna go, you guys need this stuff to be competitive. And you can say all you want, I see this a lot, and I swear to goodness, you're being stupid. Don't be stupid, because I want this game to do well, so don't be stupid and fanboyish about this. Do not say that you can make the choice and go the other direction. You don't have to do what other people do. Fuck that. You will do what other people do. It's called peer pressure. It happens every day. And if you don't think you're not going to get that in an MMO space, you're going to get it by the bucket load, because the internet is anonymous and you can do whatever you want. So people are going to like be at your chat window bugging the hell out of you, and they're going to be in your vent and your guildies. And I get, you can say, oh, we'll guild with other people. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. In an MMO space, it just doesn't. I'm not going to go huge ranting on this. I just want people to realize that. Here, I'm even going to calm down. I'm calm now. They just need to realize that Zenimax Online just needs to put in some limitations here, and this is the only one. I am cool with everything else for one reason and one reason alone. Don't allow the utilization of the chat logs in a way that creates a DBM style add-on, and this is really the only one I can think of that, if it got in, would truly ruin the experience. Everything else I can kind of deal with, the recount and even the community stuff that goes along with that, because those things I can utilize myself, and I can even have an excuse for like why I would use recount for self preservation and theory crafting and that sort of thing, because I have done that, and even though that's not what the majority of people use it for, they use it as a contest sort of window, see who's winning. But all of those things, all of the UI that people use to clutter their screen with craziness, I can deal with all of that. Don't put DBM or a similar add-on in this game. Don't allow it is really what's important, because anyone that's followed WoW and similar MMOs that have allowed add-ons knows for a fact, and Blizzard has said this, that by allowing add-ons like DBM to exist, they have had to change the way they create hard and engaging content, because they have to now assume that everyone runs an add-on that plays the game for them. Now, I understand DBM doesn't actually move your character. I understand that you still have to be self-aware of where things land. But the problem is, especially how WoW has been, is it's tons and tons of don't stand in this or instant kill mechanics. And you want to know why? Because of DBM. Because if you can see where attacks are coming from, or you know exactly when it's going to happen before it happens, and that sort of thing, you don't have to be 100% engaged on it. You can just listen for your audio cue or your visual cue you set up on your screen to say when something's going to happen, and you have your timer set. Then you're not going to die from any abilities that don't outright kill you or outright ruin the experience by doing some other mechanic that essentially would be the same as dying. They can't do that in this game, or else they will have the same problem. They can't put DBM in, or else they're going to run into the same problem, because MMOs have a hard enough time making tough content without add-ons. So they should probably not let people do this, especially right out of the gate. If for whatever reason they're super confident in their ability to do content, at least do a test run, like in your own house or something. For goodness sake, do something. Stay away from it. Like I said, I could do another whole video on why they need to stay away from that. But let me get back onto the good and who cares part of the video, because this is actually running longer than I expected. Who cares? The first point, the delay. Stop blaming the consoles. Anyone that has any sense of logic and has been watching this game, even even a little, like even watching the development a little bit, would realize that we would not be getting this game at the end of the year. We would not be getting this with the 2013 release. There's no way we were getting it. We had a very small beta pool, a closed beta, no open beta in sight whatsoever. They released their convention schedule, and we seen that they were going to be at Gamescom, which is in September. Okay, now this was back before E3. They said we we're going to be at all these conventions, Gamescom included. That's all the way in September. There's no way in hell they're going to reveal something at Gamescom without... there's just not enough time. You can't come to a convention, reveal something big, and then still have enough time to release within like a couple months maximum. There's no way in hell that they were pulling that off. That was the big kicker for me. You can't go from E3 to Gamescom to release without any information coming out, and I feel like that's really why they have been, between the fact that they've been hiding the gameplay and the information for the game. They haven't allowed an NDA lift from even closed beta testers, and the fact that they are going to be at Gamescom in September. They're going to reveal something there. There's just too many things, so calm it down. The delay is fine. We will get the game when it's ready. This is one of those things, like, when I first saw it, obviously I'm upset because I want the game to come out. I want to play it, but I'm not going to say it's the end of the world because they decided to delay the game, which honestly it had it coming long before the consoles were announced. I feel like the console thing was just they had planned on doing it. In my theory, they probably said we're putting in first-person combat, which is why we couldn't do it on the consoles. It would scare away the console fan base. They said, here's our first-person, and I feel like from there they probably went to talks about putting it on the consoles, because then with the new architecture, they could. The code is very similar, from my understanding, and the fact is they've already kind of got controller layouts for the first-person combat and that sort of thing, and they decided, hey, we're putting first person and third person. This is exactly what the other Elder Scrolls games had. Let's put it on consoles anyway. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. It's not a huge delay, because like I said, the code is very similar. Let me see here. There's a big kind of uproar that the console release is going to ruin the experience for players. This is something that potentially could happen, and I'm not going to say I'm not slightly worrisome of, but we have zero information. There's zero reasons to start ranting now, because we don't know anything about how the PC and console markets for ESO will coincide, if at all. Really the only thing that could happen, the big worry from everyone, is that they will tone down difficulty on things to make it capable for console players, and then that will be it. They won't change it for PC to make the content tough for us. Now, I feel like that's all it's going to do, really, is they're going to make content that works on both, and then they're just going to balance each side as needed, because they are on separate servers. This is something they can do on their own, and I actually think that we're going to get console patches and expansions much farther past when the PCs do, because of the way that PCs can just go straight to patching. They've got their launchers, that sort of thing. They can put all of that info right to our PC or Mac, if you're into that thing, and they can fix the stuff right away. They can do the bug fixes. The consoles, on the other hand, are going to have the issues where bugs are going to be present, and they have to jump through hoops to let Sony or Microsoft know that they have to patch, and then they have to wait before that can happen. So we will more than likely be fine on the PC front. If anything, the PC is going to get the content, and then the consoles are going to have to wait. So there's still incentive to play on a PC in that respect, and then also we will have the content first. They might get beta first on PS4. I've already talked about that, but the overall sort of content there's no way. If they do it the other way, they're killing themselves. So I have faith that Zenimax will release the content to PC first, and they will even take that feedback and apply it to the console DLCs and expansions and that sort of thing. So really, that's really all I've got for the game right now. Like I said, I try to keep it light. I can go on and on about this game because I am more excited than I am disappointed in how it's been developing. For sure, I've had my ups and downs with this game. I'm kind of in a lull with MMOs, so I want this to come along and do well. I'm sure I'll be covering more of this game going forward. So this has been Pulse. Thanks again for watching and listening. Like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing here. Just throwing my opinions on the internet, really. And come back next time. Peace.